What's going on, guys? It's Matt Marinoff back from a little hiatus. My special guest today is Adam Glassman. Adam and I have been friends for a very long time, almost like pen pals. We've never met physically face to face. And I would say, if anything, this is the new improved Adam. He's the 2020. He's a real estate investor. He's obviously a huge entrepreneur. Let me give you a little back about Adam. He's got that COVID haircut going on.
And beard.
And his beard. Adam runs a company called Property Buyers Group. It's a full-service professional real estate company with solution. He's in the greater New York area. He founded in 2012 Property Buyers Group. He's excited to be a part of the area. He's inspiring other people. He's contributing to economic rejuvenation in the New York area and neighborhood. Since its inception, Property Buyers Group has passionately pursued both helping hundreds of homeowners find solutions. You got feedback over there, my man. In their real estate needs. His company specializes in real estate problems. He's looking to help people in financial crisis, and he's not charging. Basically, he's got a unique, different approach that most have. We'll talk about that, obviously, on the live. He's paying cash for properties. The sellers don't have to make any repairs. They can leave the property as is. They can take their special belongings with them. He has no timeline as far as moving. There's no commissions paid out, no closing costs. Basically, he's buying the property in as is condition. So he's looking for people that want to sell the property quickly. All right. So if you find yourself in a real estate dilemma, obviously you want to reach out to Adam. Adam is based out of Long Island, right?
No, I'm based out of New York City, but I run Suffolk and Nassau and the boroughs, Long Island, Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx.
Gotcha. Okay, so the Tri-Borough area, whatever it is.
New York Metro.
Metro, right? New York Metro area. So
you're a Jersey guy, so you don't know all the.
I really don't. I try not to cross over the GW Bridge unless there's a homicide. Other than that, I'm not really interested.
Homicide.
Yeah, homicide. Yeah, homicide. I want to be the first on the scene. You looking to sell? No. I'm only kidding. Anyway, so guys, without further ado, Adam, tell people a little bit about yourself. Tell them a little bit about your story. Tell them how you got into real estate. What was your why? Why'd you do it?
Well, I come from the background of catering. I was a chef. I was in the kitchen my whole life. I went to school for that. I got a degree in culinary arts. I worked for the man my whole life. I started up catering events, and I worked for a company for about 12, 13 years. I went off to school in Ohio. I did the whole 9 yards. I went off to Miami for a while, worked in the kitchens there, then came back to New York and opened a bunch of hotels and worked for high-end catering halls, and did the hotel thing like I just said. And one day, after a few firings over the years, I said, screw this. I'm not working for anybody. So I had two options, which I really enjoyed, which was trading stocks, which I was very, very bad at, or real estate, which I always enjoyed, walking around the city and saying, I want to own those buildings one day. So I dove into real estate and, watching those late night TV shows like everybody sees. You can make $1 million, blah, blah, blah. Everybody can flip houses, cash flow. There's millions of those on TV. So, I woke up one day, called a few of my friends, said, hey, let's do this. It's a free thing. We all know about them. Everybody thinks they're scams, but they're not. I mean, some of them might be, but, and I went to one of them, and they suckered me into a 3-day one, and here I am today. I don't know how many years later, 8 years later, and I'm doing pretty good at it, you know. And here I am today, and I work for myself. I could grow a beard. I could dress how I want. I could wear my hair how I want. I don't have to ask to go on vacation. I don't have to brush my teeth. I don't have to floss my teeth. I don't have to wash my hands after I go to the bathroom. No, I'm kidding. All that stuff is a joke.
How long have you actually physically been in real estate?
About 8 years, 7, 8 years. 2012, I started.
Okay, so 7, 8. So that's when your breakdown started. About 7, 8 years ago, everything went downhill from there.
It didn't go downhill. I just said I'm done working for people.
No, I'm saying about the hygiene.
I always had beards. No one ever questioned my beard because I was a good worker.
Right. No, I got you. So that's cool. So listen, I get it. Not everybody wants to work for somebody. I didn't want to work for somebody. I always, for me, like, as soon as I hit the desk, I could go to work. I'm wide awake. Everything's good. Turn on the computer. The breakfast truck would get there. I get my snack, get to the desk.
Yep.
And after my snack at like 10:15, I'm like, I'm ready to take a nap. So I never really was a 9-to-5 guy. So I get that whole 9-to-5, non-movement, and be able to, be able to work for yourself as long as you can support yourself. So I get it.
Yeah.
Adam, I want to have you on today because, as I said, we've been following each other for a couple of years. You're quite a character. You're probably a little misunderstood with your humor and your jokes.
That's what I've been told.
What's that?
That's what I've been told. Sometimes, but a lot of people like me. I got a lot of friends in this industry, and I'm out there networking. I'm out there in the city a lot, and
Right.
you gotta be funny. You gotta be out different, and I'm sick of dealing with boring, same old people. And if you don't have a
Thick
sense
skin.
of humor or personality, you're just gonna be a boring life going home to your miserable life.
Right. You have to have a thick skin. You have to be able to laugh, at yourself, stuff like
Any
that.
business.
I talked to my wife about, because in September I'm going to be 50.
Oh,
And I talked to my wife about the possibility of having a 50th birthday party, but a roast, and have people actually roast me.
yeah, they did that to me at my wedding.
They
Didn't work out too well.
I see that. But you had a good run.
10 years good.
Yeah, 10 years run. So it was doomed from the start. You and I, we can take this out on the road. But I guess the thing is that, like I said, thick skin, people take life too serious. You have to be able to roll with the punches. Obviously, this whole Corona thing's really throwing people on their ass, and it's good and bad. In my opinion, I think we're going to weed out a lot of the weak that don't know how to adapt. People are freaking out about the whole virtual showing of properties. You had put something up the other day, literally from soup to nuts, and then people started emailing you. I think out of habit, because they don't read, or they're just lazy inherently, whatever. You had a whole video. You had a lot of stuff that was on there that basically gave the information on the property. So that should just show people that they don't understand how to follow direction. My group that I run, which is the Short Sale 101 group, I ask people, there's a few very simple questions. If you don't answer the questions, you're not getting in the group.
Of course.
We're approaching 1,500 members in that group now. And ironically, which I think is funny, is we probably could have been over 3,500 people at this point. But my thought is, if you can't answer the very simple questions, you're not going to be able to, I don't want to say comprehend what we're doing in a group, but you're going to be dead weight because you don't follow directions, you don't listen. And I don't read that well as it is, but people that inherently just don't want to read. So I got a couple of questions I want to ask you, Adam. I want to ask you your expertise, being in the industry for as long as you've been. What are your thoughts on the coronavirus? How do you feel it's affecting your market? the boroughs and Long Island? What do you see? What's going on out there?
Well, I haven't seen a lot of action yet. I mean, things are selling. Um, there's a lot of people, at least what I see and read in New York City, that are running as fast as they can, especially people with families, and they're going to the suburbs, whether it's Jersey, whether it's upstate, whether it's Long Island, the Hamptons, whatever. They're going. They're
Right.
sick of New York. They're sick of all the BS. They're sick of getting locked down. They're sick of the mayor. They're sick of politics. Blah blah blah. So the demand in the burbs is very little inventory. I see that. I see that speaking to my broker friends. I see that with houses we have in a renovation selling faster, which is very surprising. I also see on the other end that we haven't seen anything yet, how the market's going to really crash. We've bought in a few houses during this virus, and we are taking a 10 to 20% discount from where we usually are in our ARV, after repair value, in certain areas. Certain areas will always sell.
Right.
Regardless, it won't drop with good schools and a good area. Anywhere in Jersey, certain areas are always going to sell. Wherever you're at, where you're in Mendham or doesn't matter where you're at. You don't want to tell people.
Mahwah, Bergen County.
Mahwah. But like Marlboroughs and Livingstons and Essex County area, Bergen counties. The good schools are always going to inventory won't drop really, and prices really won't drop too much because the inventory is supply and demand. What we haven't seen because of the coronavirus and soon to be the resurgence, it's going to go back up, obviously, with all these people protesting and all these crazy people on the streets and running around all across America. Is it's going to go back up and everybody's going to start getting sick again?
That's allegedly those people.
Oh, we know what's going to happen.
Right.
Regardless, I'm not a doctor. But to the point of the virus is the economy. So right now we're 3 months in, right? So we're looking at the average Joe could pay their rent or their mortgage for the first few months, May, June, July, or March, April, May. So right now we're in June. All right. Next another few weeks, couple weeks, we're in July. We're going to start seeing July, August, September, where people can't pay their mortgages, they can't pay their rent, and within the next 6 months, I think we're going to see a lot of downfall in certain markets, and a lot of people going into foreclosure and getting their notice of defaults and stuff like that, which you'll see a lot quicker than us, since that's your specialty in short sales. And it's just a guaranteed, especially with that forbearance, the 3-month forbearance, and a lot of these banks, whether they're putting it on the end of the mortgage or not, where are people going to come up with the money? Or their jobs are going to be back, now or in a month from now, in phase 2, phase 3, whatever these phases are now at this point. Can't even keep track of them. But I do definitely 100% see a big drop off and definitely a decline coming up within the next 3 to 4 months.
So I'm going to add to that, what I think people don't understand is if you were late before, if you were behind before the coronavirus, that whole forbearance, the deferment, that doesn't apply to those people. The people that were late before had modification program. This whole forbearance deferment most probably is not going to apply to you, and I think the general public is misled, and I think that there's going to be a spike in I'm going to say November, December.
And my black cat Cash says yes.
Hello, Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash and Carter.
Johnny Cash. So I don't think people are realistic in their expectations. I
see it with my leads coming in, and any good investor, any popular investor, anybody that drive leads to their website or their pages, and we don't buy on the MLS, ever. I don't buy from brokers, strictly sellers.
Right.
They're still not getting it through their head that they still think they're sitting on gold in the boroughs of New York and Brooklyn and Queens, and they're asking above retail. I mean, there's people that they have sent me, and even in the last 3 days, my last 10 I've looked at and spoken to. I'm like, you had this listed, and not only have you been listed for the last year and a half, you've raised the price during the coronavirus. What makes you think that someone's going to pay more during a virus pandemic?
All right. So
what's going through your head?
Let's talk about that. So you had 10 leads come in. 10 leads, right? You said you had 10 leads come in, right?
10 leads in the last 5 days.
So
just through my forms, just through the computer, through the Podio app.
Whatever it is, you had 10 leads come in. Out of those leads, how many of them are real prospects?
How many are what?
Real prospects.
1 maybe.
So 1%, right?
1 to 2.
Yeah. All right, so 1 or 2%, right, are prospects. So let's talk about the other 8. You have eight leads that come in. What are you seeing with the leads that are coming in? Give us examples.
Say it again.
Give us examples of the 8 leads that you're not going to go after.
Well, I'll talk to everybody. I talk to every single person.
No, I understand that, but you're basically pushing 8 leads out the window.
We're not pushing them out the window. We either put them on follow up. They're not ready to sell.
Okay.
It's listed with a broker. There was a death in the family, but they haven't gotten up there yet. They're not in foreclosure yet, but they're getting there. Mom's sick, but they can't move her yet. The house is in great condition. They're looking and seeing their options out there, whether they want to list it or don't want to list it or want the quick way out. It's everything and anything. Oh, my house is this and that. There's endless situations that people have. So
you're seeing a lot of people right now. Would you consider them tire kickers?
They kick a lot of tires. They definitely kick a lot of tires. Very similar to 90% of the investors and guys on my list
right.
that I try to sell to.
Well, no, I just call those guys full of shit.
And they're full of shit. They're. I'm an investor, yeah. But you watch. You went to one RIA meeting,
right?
Well,
there's professional goers that go to those meetings, and it's the people that take endless amount of education classes
forever,
and they do nothing.
Never do one thing.
They never do one thing.
Yeah, that's all right. Now teach your own. Listen, I used to judge them, but I don't anymore. I'm friends with some of those guys. I'm like, you know what? We have a good time. I just make fun of them to their face.
Those individuals would make amazing house hunters.
Yeah.
Because they're never going to pull the trigger because they're, for whatever reason, they're nervous about.
I'm bird dogs.
Well, you call them bird dogs. I call them home hunters.
Oh, sorry. Which is most politically correct.
Well, it's a lot. Listen, you want to be a bird dog? You want to be a home hunter? Home hunter sounds sexy. Bird dog sounds like.
It's like house hunters.
That's it.
You get sued though because someone has that name.
Whatever it is. So everybody has a different take on everything. So there's 8 leads. You put them in a follow-up system. How many of those 8 actually ever turn into a transaction?
It could be 1%.
Okay. All right. So I mean, it's fair enough. So I mean, you bet basically in the leads that you come in, you got about a 30% turnaround. That's not bad.
Well, hopefully. I mean, that's pretty high.
Right. So all right. So you have the transaction that actually turns into something. What do you end up doing with that transaction? You're buying it, wholesaling it?
Wholesaling 90% of the time.
So you're a wholesaler.
I wholesale a lot.
So you don't buy and fix anymore?
Not much. If I do, I do it with a partner.
Right.
I built my business a different way. I don't like I used to do renovations. It's a pain in the butt. especially living in New York City, downtown, and getting through traffic all day and maneuvering through Brooklyn and Queens and the Long Island and Suffolk and Nassau. And, it's not like I'm in one town or one county where I just work. I cover a big area.
So let's talk about that, because one of the questions I was going to ask you, based on seeing you on Facebook, hearing the stuff that you talk about, you run your real estate business different than most, right? So
I tend to.
Smarter, not harder. Explain to people so they understand, why is your business model different, and do you think it's better, or it's just good for what you do?
Well, when I first got into the business, I went to everything I could, everywhere I could go to meet people, all the events. Some of the events are still going, some of the events aren't still going, whether it's a Nick Tang event or whether it's another real estate event in New York City, or a suit event where I got to throw in a suit with bankers and capital guys and equity guys and developers, all super high end, guys like that. That's the benefit of living in the city, because there's something every night of the week,
Right.
And I'm friendly with a lot of those guys to a point.
Right.
When I first started, I did a little meetup with my group of people in one of those things I signed up for, and one of the guys walks in, which I'm not going to bring up his name. We're going around what we do. I was bullshitting. I was faking it till I make it. Like, yeah, I do that, blah, 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 blah. I do this, that, and the other thing, and I didn't do anything. And I looked at a friend of mine who was going to be a partner of mine at the time. He was an attorney, and I said, we gotta hang out with this guy. He's doing like, 30 houses a year. Like, Jesus, he's renovating 30 houses a year. He's got an office. He's got 5 people that work with him, and that's big. It's still big for anybody. Now he's quadruple the size, but and we got into him, and I said, we started working with him. I gave him the first deal was like a deal I didn't even know how to handle, somewhere out in Long Island, and he locked it up within like a day, and I got my cut, which was nothing, and I know he probably made a killing on it. And I said, we became really close friends over the time, and all these deals that I do on renovations, I go through him. I just send them over to him. I generally lock them up, and he handles all the funding. He handles all the contracting, all the BS, all the coordination of closings and title companies, blah, 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 blah. Not him personally, but people in the office. All the bookkeeping, cutting checks, contracting, project management, blah. So yeah, I take less of a cut, but I'm not working that hard. And, if I was doing it myself, I'm still have to do it. I still have to do all that work. And still pay out people. So it's the same thing, but we're splitting, whatever our agreement is on the cuts. So as that was going along, and I just started to surround myself with a lot smarter people than me. So I'm not that smart. I'm smart to surround myself with people that are smarter than me and utilize what they're good at. And that's what I've been doing. I'm good at bullshitting and networking and going out and having a couple cocktails and entertaining people. I could go raise money and things like that. I used to be good at hands-on stuff, but as I'm getting older, I'm getting close to your age too. I'm in my mid 40s, so I'm getting a little older and swinging a hammer and pretending to knock down walls and things like that. I used to be interested in, but I'm not anymore.
Makes sense.
You just get too busy. So that's the way I built the company. I just surrounded myself with smarter people, and every there's just 2 or 3 people I do business with. I've made a lot of mistakes with people I've done business with and lost money, and there's people I've sued and people I've wanted to kill, but hey, you live and learn.
Absolutely, 100%.
Not literally kill.
I understand.
Some people have, some people don't on here. You know, it's a tough crowd sometimes.
Listen, you have to have a thick skin in life, and you can't take people.
We know we're in the same. We're bred by the same type of people.
I believe so. So, Adam, what would you say your goals are right now in 2020? Have they changed? Because a lot of people had high expectations for 2020. 2020 should be like a bad one-night stand and make it go away. That's really what 2020 should be. 2021 should be the worst diarrhea you ever had. Flush it, forget it, take your Pepto-Bismol, and go on with the rest of your life. What are your goals now in 2020?
Buy low and sell high. That's
right.
one.
Right.
I'd like to buy a couple big buildings by the end of the year. Bigger stuff for cash flow.
Right.
That's definitely on my list. Unfortunately, I don't have much cash right now due to this coronavirus that's draining me out. But that's not hard to find. You just got to find the deals. So, buying a couple big apartment buildings. I used to own a bunch of stuff. I had about 12 units, which I sold off a few years back. And, it's tough being an absentee landlord and hiring property managers and stuff like that. And I figured out that I need something more local, something I could drive to in an hour.
So you've had issues with property management companies?
Well, who hasn't?
Some people don't. Some people actually get very lucky with them.
Nah, you go through. You got to go through them. It's trial and tribulations. You go through them until you find the right one. It's like a contractor. You keep going through them and going through them and going through them.
What do you think the biggest issue is with having a management company in place?
They're just not on top of their game. They're not on top of their shit. They're just overcharging you on little petty things, like changing locks. And, when someone moves out, or just not really being strong on collecting rent, I have a different view on things. I'm very strong on my personality and the way I do things.
Plus,
not always the right way.
You walk around with a bat.
Nah, no. I have a crowbar in my car, but I haven't used it ever. I'm also licensed, but I don't carry that either. Not allowed to in New York City.
I can't believe somebody gave you a gun, but okay.
The state of New York, but
say no more.
Yeah, I don't carry it. I got it for upstate. It's an upstate gun.
I got you.
Protection upstate. It's locked in the safe. Can't do anything with it.
I got you.
But it is what it is. It's these. What was the question? I lost you.
I'm asking you what your goals are in 2020.
We did that already. Apartment buildings.
Right. Where I asked you about the management company.
The management company. Yeah. Oh, the bat. The bat. Yeah. No bats. Yeah. I mean, they're just they were definitely good. This management company I had. They were just overpriced, and they always had an answer for every damn question, knowing that I was in real estate, knowing what I did for a living. And I warned them about it. I'm like, listen, I'm a stickler for things like this. It doesn't cost $150 to change 2 doorknobs.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't cost that.
How much should it cost to change 2 doorknobs?
I don't know, but not $150 when you're doing them in-house. $30?
Right.
I don't know. I get it. They got to make a living, and I get it. They have an office. I get it. They have staff, and I get it. I get all that. There's overhead. I mean, I fully understand all that. I fully understand when, I split, my costs, or all my expenses on a deal that I cut with my partners. I get everybody going to get a cut of the hiss and that, and the project manager gets a fee, and I get it. There's rent. There's everything gets covered, whatever the percentages are. But you got to be fair.
So obviously you're saying you have issues. You've had a lot of issues with property management.
I had one issue with my property management company, and I just kept them on. because I didn't want to sit there and interview anymore and deal with it. So eventually I got rid of my houses up there, and that was a few years back. And but one of the bigger goals this year is to really get some bigger buildings, maybe in the Hudson Valley, which is an up and coming area up by Kingston and New Paltz and the Stone Ridge area, Woodstock.
Aren't you worried about property management though, or no?
I can manage your properties up there.
Oh, gotcha. So you'd be in the air. You know who you remind me of?
No,
Remember Jack Nicholson in The Shining?
no. I know him. Yeah, I remember him, but I don't never heard that before.
Yeah, I feel like if you broke in the door and you stuck your head, there you go. I'd get a couple of fries short of a Happy Meal, my man. All right, so listen, networking. What are your thoughts on networking? How often are you networking or going to networking events?
It depends. I think networking is awesome. I think everybody should network. I think depending where you're at, how many network. I'm fortunate to be in New York City, in downtown Manhattan, so there's a lot more networking events than Mawa or any of the other burbs. I mean, you're going to get, probably one or couple a week, maybe here and there, and you got to drive to them, and it's pretty boring. I tend to have a couple cocktails at these events. We end up going out, to dinner, end up somewhere late night. So they turn into a fun time with my guys you haven't seen for a while sometimes, or whatever it might be. Guys I like to catch up with, some powerful guys, some big guys, some not, some new guys you just meet, that you could do business with, whether they're a developer or just a flipper like me, which you don't really come across a lot at some of these events. They say they are, but always getting cards. You never know who you're going to meet, whether it's the tile girl at Sell Tiles, or whether it's a money guy, a hard money guy, or whether it's a broker that is out there on the streets every day. I've met a lot of people I do business with. Literally, I do business with regularly that I've met at these events over the years. It's worked out. Because you never know who you're going to meet and when you're going to meet them. And, you got to have a good personality. You can't just stand in the corner. You just got to talk to people. You got to be friendly. You got to BS around, bring a business card, don't do that thing. Oh, I forgot my business cards. And, you got to write their name on the back. Remember to email them the next day, because or else it's just a waste of time. I used to go out a lot more. I used to go out a couple days a week. But now it's a lot less. I mean, not over the last 3 months, but I haven't gone out anything. But, and then the summer comes, now it's pretty quiet. So there's not much going on. But once the fall hits, pending what's going on in this world, I try to go to, 2 or 3 of the top, events. And there's generally a nice speaker there sometimes that they talk, whatever the topic is, for a half an hour.
Right.
Some booze and stuff like that.
Well, one thing I want to talk about, I'm going to cover, is Facebook and networking, and it can turn into money. But I feel like people just friend people just to friend people. And for me, it cracks me up, because if somebody friends me on Facebook, I actually send them a message.
Oh, I got a funny story about that.
Hold on. And I'll send them a message, and my message is very clear. Thank you for the invite on Facebook. If you'd like to network, talk shop, know a little bit more about my business and who I am, let me know. It's not all the people, but there's a bunch of people that never respond. So when that person's birthday rolls around and I've never heard from them, I have nothing in common with them. I might have friends with them on Facebook. To me, unfortunately, because the way Facebook has everything set up with my regular Facebook account, that little spot, that one person, that's a commodity. So if you notice, my 5,000 friends hits a certain amount and then it dwindles down. It goes back up, down and up. It goes, that's a piece of real estate for me. So when somebody says or reaches out to me and then we never have any type of rapport, or the best is I'll respond to them for saying, hey, thank you for friending me on Facebook. And then there's no response. I see them look at it. Like, to me, that's somebody who's just trying to build up their friends list and be popular and say, I got almost 5,000 friends. So at some point, when I'm bored one day and I've got nothing going on, I'm going to rifle through it. I'm going to see who I friended. What's that?
True story. Last night.
Yeah, tell me something.
You're not going to be able to see it. 10 o'clock last night. What does that say?
Hi, Adam. Hope you're doing well. I noticed that you are friends on Facebook, but I've never really spoken. I am making an effort to get to know all my friends. Facebook, want to reach out and say hi. Yeah, that's because COVID-19 shit is going on.
Yeah.
They're bored out of their mind. That's why.
I turned it back on him. He has 3,800 friends, this guy. He wants to hit every one of them. And I questioned him so much. And I turned it back on him. And he almost fell to the floor laughing. He's like, obviously you got a good personality and you're funny. And then I started to be a little dirty. But, I'm like, how do you know? I mean, you could really screw up here. You could actually met these people and hung out with them. And you just don't even remember, like me. And a lot of people know me because I'm very popular on Facebook in my groups because of my posts and stuff. And I just don't remember hanging out with them. And I could be like, hey, Joe, what's going on? How are you? I wanted to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And you could be like, Adam, I hung out with you in Vegas for we had dinner together. And I could be like, oh, shit, I'm like, is that going to happen, Charles? He said I was the 10th person he reached out to so far. He just started.
Mm-hmm. Wait, his name is Charles?
Yeah.
I know who it is.
You know Charles?
Of course I know Charles.
No, Charles? Charles Gilbert. He's very successful, actually, it looks like. Charles, you're making it. You're own your own life. Keller Williams, he's out of Arizona. Tucson. Oh, no. Kansas City, Missouri. Bunch of dogs. Nice guy. Nice pool. Likes his dogs. Handsome fella. He needs a tan.
Got it. So my whole point with the Facebook, with the network and stuff like that is it's a viable tool.
100%.
And I don't think people really know how to utilize it. And I'm not the type of person where I really want to take time out of my business to show somebody, unless it's somebody that I'm mentoring and that I'm coaching as a student. That's fine. I'll tell you something. There's a lot of people that want to understand my business, and you take it for whatever it's worth. They want to understand it, but they don't want to pay for the time to understand it, because people want shit for free in life.
Everybody.
And free isn't necessarily for me, because if I can't put a value, or if somebody can't put a value on time or perspective, then they have no value. So
Great.
I don't know if you disagree with that, but I'm not interested in meeting somebody for a cup of coffee. Those days are
Oh
gone.
my God, I get those all the time.
You want to get a cup of coffee? I like to pick your brain.
I think we should meet. I think we should get in a call. I think we should. I'm like, about what? I'm like, what are we getting on a call for? I'm like, we could just email me. What do we have to talk about? I'm like, what are we meeting about? I mean, I don't have time for coffee and drinks unless it's something that we both could get something out of. I mean, that's just the fact. I mean,
this is what I tell people, right? First of all, I don't drink coffee. So we don't need to. You know what I do eat? I like steak. You want to take me out to a nice steak dinner? You want to pay a couple $100? I'm down.
I've done that before.
And some people do it, but some people, the majority of them, don't do it because they don't value their time. They sure as hell don't value my time, and I'm not interested. And this isn't me trying to be mean. This is me saying, look, I want to work with people that want to help people. It's not always about money. It's about doing the right thing, showing people to know what their options are. And nobody wants to take time to show that. That's why I value the time that you and I are talking right now and having you on, because you're a no-nonsense guy like me. You're like, if I'm going to have a nervous breakdown, I'm right here. You're a nervous break. You're like literally like right here.
Where's my hair look?
I'm just saying, you look crazy as fuck. And that's a good thing. It's a good look for you. Right? Some people can pull it off. I mean, now you look like the Grim Reaper, but that's okay.
Yeah, but I get that. I used to get that a lot, because a lot of people in my groups, hey, I see your posts, you're doing a lot of stuff. Can we grab coffee, a drink, this and that? And, every now and then, depending who they are, I would, but what gets me really pissed off is they don't even cover the tab.
Yeah, I love it.
Are you kidding me?
They want to split the bill.
Are you kidding me? I'm taking time and I'm giving you valuable information, and you're not going to cover a couple drinks at $16 each?
That really, I don't listen. I get it. I know the money is tight and stuff like that, but don't.
They just pay $8,000 to join a program or whatever. Not my problem.
Exactly. It's like don't embarrass yourself.
If you pay me.
Yeah, absolutely. People have reached out to me, asked me about my program. They've asked me about my training, about and everything like that. And maybe for, I don't know, every 10 invoices I send out or information about it, maybe 4 people will reach back, and out of the 4, maybe 1 person will move forward.
Right.
I'm okay with that, because I don't want to have somebody that's not motivated, that's going to spend the money and then ultimately say, Matt, it's your fault I'm not successful. Well, how is that possible? Because I'm good at what I do. I know what my team does. We're always looking into the latest and the greatest, and I'm working on it right now. Am I going to talk about it? No, I'm going to do it, and after I'm done doing it, then I'm going to share it with everybody else. I'm a pioneer. In 2005, when I got into this industry, nobody knew who the hell I was. 2007, people started to recognize who I was. They were lining up for the classes. I called it going dark. I went behind the scenes, deep behind the scenes, because I wanted to do things differently than most.
Yeah.
And I was able to hone my craft and what I do. What I do is an art. I love the best is I love when people reach out to me and go, hey, so I see what you do out there, and I see you're really good at processing short sales. I need you to I need a processor. So here's what I'm going to do. I said, whoa. Let me stop you right there. First of all, I'm not a processor. Okay. I'm a specialist. So here's what we can do. Okay. We can stop right there. I'm going to block you on my phone, and I'm going to block you on Facebook. We restart the whole conversation over again. But one thing I want you to understand is when I work with people, we work together.
Yeah.
It's how don't work for you. And I left that life many years ago, to the tune of almost 16 years ago. So I love when people have that kind of mindset where they're almost like going to mind fuck somebody into doing something that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
I know you understand it, because you and I are on the same level as far as that. I don't need you. You need me. And if I was to wipe myself off of social media and delete all my accounts, I'd still be busy as hell.
Yeah.
Because I have a following of people that understand the value in what my team brings. And if I had to restart all over again, I could do it. It doesn't matter. When I do what I do, I virtually do everything. I don't need brick and mortar. So, and obviously I know you will agree with me on that. I mean, look, You're in the middle of nowhere right now.
Me?
Yeah,
I'm in a wine country.
that's what I'm saying. In the middle of nowhere.
Well, they have we have phones, we have TV, we have wine right here, wine vines. This is Wolfer Estate right next door.
Yeah,
A popular winery in the
yeah,
Hamptons, but we're on the other side. We're in North Fork.
yeah,
I got barns, I got cattle, gardens,
yeah,
corn right there.
yeah.
I don't grow this stuff personally, but
You know what? You know what's funny right now is if I didn't believe you, and you were actually like in a double wide trailer,
eh.
and you're just pointing out the window, different direction, and you're making shit. Listen, at the end of the day, it's about valuing your time.
Yeah.
And people.
And I actually I become popular on Facebook, you know, and I do a lot of stuff on there. Like I know you were saying Facebook and all that stuff. And I won an award. Back to my award. I won an award in Vegas. Hang on, where's your screen? Oh, there you are. I won this award in Facebook a few years back for community award for being positive and important influencer in our Facebook community. And it was like that. It's on my Facebook page. Maybe you wanted to get a screenshot of it. It's like an Emmy award called a Femi. In front of 5,000 people, I got handed to from a very successful gentleman in the real estate community that owns a big hundreds of $1 million company. And a lot of people know me through the Facebook. My posts are out of control. If you follow my Facebook page, all my crazy deals, 90% of my deals are in court, probably at this point.
Got it.
Everything goes to court.
And if somebody wants to reach out to you, what's the better number, the cell number or the 347 number?
Either of them. Either of them.
Guys, look, if you want to reach out to Adam's cell number is 917-880-1270. Again, it's Adam Glassman. His cell number is 917-880-1270. And obviously, you can call him, you could text him. Just don't send him anything inappropriate. He might like it. And you can talk with somebody who's a true leader in the industry, who has no issues, apparently, living off the grid right now in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I still operate, though. I work every day. I'm up at 4:30 a.m. Best time to reach me is early morning. That's when I get don't call me. You can text, you can email me or text me. Right. That's 6 days a week. But I do have a life, and I try to, entertain myself, and I go out to music every night. Not now, but in general. That's how Matt knows a couple of my, when I posted this yesterday, a couple people came in. Oh, how do you know Marinoff? How do you know Marinoff? They're emailing me. Oh, Matty Marinoff.
Isn't that weird?
Really, it's a small world, dude.
It really is a small world. And ironically, they didn't say anything bad about me or that I know.
One knew your dad and one knows your kid. It's not like they hang out with you personally. So you must have a good kid and had a good dad. So
my dad was awesome, and my kid.
It probably didn't rub down to you too much.
Nah. Well, actually, ironically, one of them, the one you were talking about, when we grew up, his mom and dad were like aunts and uncles to my brother.
Yeah, they were tight. He was just a little older than you.
And then the other one, when we saw each other, we joked around, and it's funny to hear. You mentioned their names, and I was like, oh my god, it's like a blast from the past. So.
Yeah, you're like, who? I'm the same way. I forget all that.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's all good. Adam, I really appreciate you coming on. At the end of every one of my lives, I ask people to do the finger point. I want to see if you can do it.
This one?
No.
Did you promote my website and everything?
Did I promote your website?
Is it on there?
Property Buyers Group?
Yeah, it's the main one. Sell house for money. Those are all like squeeze pages. We buy house for money, for cash. I got Instagram, all that stuff. Property Buyers Group, Facebook. You could follow me there. I post every morning. Twitter, yeah, all that stuff. That looks good.
You're all over the place.
Yeah, looks great.
But if there are people that are old timers like me and you, the best way is probably you're going to want to reach him on his cell phone number. Adam's website is propertybuyersgroup.com.
Yeah, that's the main one. The other stuff is for people selling their houses.
Right. So propertybuyersgroup.com. Check it out. Reach out to Adam, see if it's something you want to maybe.
Yeah.
You do JVs? You JV with people?
I do a lot. I've done JVs. You bring the deals, we'll close the deals. You know.
Are you willing to work with newbies in the industry?
I'm sorry?
Are you willing to work with newbies in the industry?
To a point. You know, I'm not so much hands-on. I rather teach them a few things on the phone and things like that. I mean, I do give some valuable ninja tips every now and then, and you know, how to close a deal, and you know, I get calls all the time about that. And depending on who you are and what time I have, not depending on who you are. I mean, I treat everybody the same way, to be honest with you. You know, because that goes a long way in this business, and you know, I like to help people out if I can. And usually I know the answer to a lot of the things, and if I don't, I'll find out. You know, I'm known to do a lot of crazy deals, you know, because I don't sit there and buy on the MLS. I don't sit there and buy from brokers. We're buying straight directly from, you know, your seller, you know, so we're getting involved in partition actions and buying, you know, partial houses from you know, from siblings or
that's a huge market that nobody really talks about.
No one doesn't want to spend the money or time to do it. I mean, it's and that they changed the rules,
right?
You know, estate stuff, and you know, divorce gets a little crazy sometimes, and all those violations and tax stuff, and it's endless what you could do. You know, we put LPs on houses because people are, you know, trying to get out of contracts. You know, they're signing contracts with other people when we're giving money in escrow. I mean, it's ridiculous what these guys do.
Absolutely.
It's not only the boroughs; it's all over. You know, so we got to cover our butts, and you know, I try to help the people, and you know, when you bring me a deal, if it's listed on the market, I'm not interested because it's going to be overpriced. If you're trying to sell me my deal, which happens weekly,
no,
I'm not interested.
That's awesome. Guys, this is Adam Glassman. The name of his company is Property Buyers Group, propertybuyersgroup.com. You want to reach out to Adam directly, you could reach him on his cell. His mobile number is 917-880-1270. Adam, at the end of every call, like I said before, I try to get my guests to do the finger point.
Don't call me today. Today I'm busy because this took an hour of my time, and I am backed up.
Yeah,
so
you look like was it Little Red Robin Hood right now, right?
Yeah. Do I got to get up for the finger point?
Nice, could do like that.
Here's the camera.
Bro, you're a mess. I love it. Adam Glassman, everybody. Thank